Anyone who thinks that Israel will simply give up if America stops supporting it has never been in a life and death situation. China is constantly trying to close deals with Israel. They regret to this day that they did not support Israel from the beginning. China hates Muslims more than any nation in the world. The only reason they support them is because it is against America. If Israel is pushed into a corner that it has to choose between eliminating the Jewish state or making a deal with China, what do you think will happen? Here I asked ChatGPT what would happen if Israel unites with China. What will happen to these companies if the Israeli inventions and technology stop coming to them and go to their Chinese competitors?
If Israeli inventions and technologies were to stop being available to American and European companies and instead were directed exclusively to their Chinese competitors, the consequences could be significant for these companies. Here's a breakdown of what might happen. 1. Loss of competitive edge. Technological disadvantage. American and European companies heavily reliant on Israeli technology, particularly in cutting-edge fields like cybersecurity, semiconductors, and medical devices, would lose their competitive edge. Chinese competitors, now with exclusive access to these innovations, could quickly surpass them in key areas. Market share decline. As Chinese companies gain access to superior technology, they would likely capture a larger share of global markets. This could lead to a decline in market share for American and European firms, especially in industries where technological leadership is crucial. 2. Innovation slowdown. R&D impact. The loss of access to Israeli technology would slow down innovation within American and European companies. These companies would need to invest more heavily in their own R&D to try to compensate, but the gap created by the loss of Israeli innovation might be difficult to bridge quickly. Product delays. The inability to access cutting-edge Israeli technologies could lead to delays in product development and the introduction of new products, putting these companies at a further disadvantage. 3. Financial consequences. Revenue decline. As companies lose market share to Chinese competitors and struggle to innovate, their revenues could decline. This would likely result in lower profits, reduced stock prices, and diminished investor confidence. Increased costs. To regain competitiveness, American and European companies might have to significantly increase their spending on R&D, partnerships, or acquisitions of alternative technologies, leading to higher operational costs. 4. Strategic shifts. Mergers and acquisitions. To mitigate the loss of Israeli technology, companies might seek to acquire other firms with similar technologies or enter into strategic partnerships with non-Israeli entities. This could lead to a wave of mergers and acquisitions as companies try to rebuild their technological capabilities. Diversification. Companies might attempt to diversify their technology sources by investing in other innovation hubs around the world, such as Silicon Valley, South Korea, or European tech centers. However, this would take time and might not fully replace the lost Israeli technologies. 5. Geopolitical and economic implications. Increased dependency on China. As Chinese companies become more technologically advanced, American and European firms might find themselves increasingly dependent on Chinese suppliers and partners, leading to a shift in global economic power and influence. Economic shifts. The shift of technological leadership to China could lead to broader economic changes, with China gaining greater influence in global markets and potentially setting new standards in various industries. 6. Regulatory and security concerns. National security risks. Governments in the US and Europe might view the loss of access to Israeli technologies as a national security risk, particularly in critical areas like cybersecurity and defense. This could lead to increased government intervention, possibly through regulations, restrictions on Chinese technology imports, or incentives for domestic innovation. Policy responses. Governments might respond with policies aimed at boosting domestic R&D, protecting strategic industries, or restricting Chinese companies' access to Western markets. However, these measures might only partially mitigate the impact. 7. Long-term industry realignment. Shifts in industry leadership. Over the long term, industries where Israeli technology plays a critical role might see a realignment, with Chinese companies emerging as new leaders. American and European companies might be forced to redefine their business models, focusing on areas where they can still maintain a competitive advantage. Talent migration. The technological leadership shift could also lead to a migration of top talent toward Chinese firms, further strengthening China's position in global innovation. 8. Customer and market reactions. Customer perception. Customers might perceive American and European products as less innovative or advanced compared to their Chinese counterparts. This perception could lead to a shift in consumer preferences, further eroding the market position of Western companies. Pricing pressure. Chinese companies, armed with superior technology, might also engage in aggressive pricing strategies, putting further pressure on American and European firms to compete, potentially leading to price wars and reduced margins. 9. Supply chain vulnerabilities. Supply chain risks. The loss of Israeli technology could expose vulnerabilities in the supply chains of American and European companies, particularly if critical components or technologies become unavailable. This could lead to production delays, increased costs, and further erosion of competitive positioning. Summary. If Israeli technologies and inventions were exclusively redirected to Chinese competitors, American and European companies would likely face significant challenges, including the loss of competitive advantage, innovation slowdowns, and financial strain. The strategic and geopolitical implications would be profound, potentially leading to a shift in global economic power and industry leadership toward China. The long-term effects could include a realignment of industries, increased dependency on Chinese technology, and a potential erosion of the economic and technological dominance currently held by the US and Europe.